Hey, welcome everyone to the Gig App podcast by Para. That is its new name. We have the audio podcast that drops on Friday mornings as well. I want to first thank my co-host David Pickerel from Para. And don't be afraid to hit that like and subscribe, you guys. And then I also want to welcome our guest this week, who I'm very excited to talk to, Dashing Trader. And
Hey,
Trader,
hey,
welcome.
hey, hey, thanks for having me. First and foremost,
Yeah,
thank you guys for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here, and we're going to have a very interesting conversation today.
for sure. For sure. So I don't know if I'll call him Trader or FDA. FDA doesn't stand for Food and Drug Administration. It stands for Fastest Dasher Alive, just in case you guys are confused. But that is his other title here. So if you guys
My
have questions
epithet,
along the way, please put them in the comments, and
please do.
we'll see where we go from here. But Trader, I definitely want to get into your timeline specifically with Doordash. But first and foremost, how is the family? How's Gigi, who I just saw before we went live? So I actually kind of know, but
Yeah, thank you for asking. Family's doing great. Gigi's in school. She's excelling. She's overachieving. She's doing the best possible, and her recovery is number one in my top priority at this moment. And I just want to say thank you to God and thank you to all the family and support that we had, not only locally but here on YouTube, because a lot of people reached out, and it was really great to know that we got an extended family more so than we thought before in that time. And shout out to everybody who we got in the chat already too. I want to make sure we show you guys some love and
oh yeah,
appreciation.
we will along the way, you guys. I see Warcry in there. I see Old Shoe. So you guys say hello if you're in here. But yeah, I guess let's start when you
Yeah, a
started
lot to talk
DoorDash.
about.
When you started DoorDash and when you started the YouTube channel, when did you start dashing? Because we're going to try and stay to DoorDash specifically
Yeah.
for a bit.
So my DoorDash journey, it started in January of 2022.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So okay, I thought it was 2021 last at one point, but maybe not. Okay. Did you was the YouTube pretty much right behind it?
Yep, absolutely. My YouTube and my DoorDash journey pretty much started at the same time, but the content creation and the consistent content creation came at a much later date.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I wanted to move into, because I know what the purpose of what you were doing for a while with the channel was, of taking the no tip orders and that timeline, that part of your life. I know that it
It
was
was a
because
great time.
but it was a time that I feel like I understood what you were doing, because all the dashers who can feel exactly know that feeling but don't have coworkers, that's one
Right.
way of looking at it. And how I looked at it often was that, look, you know, there's people watching this going, I can totally feel what he's feeling. My only concern ever was the copycat type stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, what you were doing was just to prove a point. Look how many of these there are out there. And look at how all the people, I mean, I can't tell you how many of your videos I watched where the people act shocked. Like, oh, I didn't tip, kind of like giving you, even if it was just that look. I
Yeah.
was like, really? Seriously? Like,
Yeah. And
you didn't tip. Come on.
yeah, no, a picture sometimes tells 1,000 words, right? In a moving video, even a small clip can tell even more.
Hmm.
And what I come to learn in that situation was that a lot of the shock that we would see on camera, that we would, people be taken aback. Oh, I can't believe that's not a tip. They're actually not shocked about the tip or it not being on there. They're more shocked about that GoPro Hero 11 strapped to my head and me asking them those questions.
Right. I mean, there were some people. I remember one specifically. There was the guy who his girlfriend had ordered, and I think it was snowing out too, and he came down in his Sweatpants, he looked pretty angry. That was
Yeah.
one of the ones who seemed pretty angry.
Yeah. I think I titled that one DoorDash driver gets beat up for running 9 Yeah. Pretty spicy one on that one.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess my point is I wouldn't recommend what Trader did to anybody, but I understand why you did it. And in that time and place, I get it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get it. But okay, let's go to the
Real quick before we get off of that specific topic, in that time period, you
mhm,
know, and more so than now, I think now so we in a situation where there's an abundance of information, especially when it comes to what we can find on YouTube in as it pertains to new dashers. And even though there will always be a steady flow of new dashers coming to the platform, in that particular time, back in January, February, March, even through the summer of 2022, I felt that it was the time where we needed to really show that these are the orders that are giving us the most problems. And in that period of time, like I said, we didn't have the overabundance of information. So now it's a lot of different places these new dashers can go and find that information to understand no tip, no trip.
yeah.
But like you just said, I would agree. It's not something I would recommend doing. And that's leads into my next point. That's why I didn't continue to do that, because as we see now, as we have seen, and as we will continue to see, there's a major safety concern when it comes to those types of actions and behaviors, even if they done in the educational form or if they done in a prank form.
Yeah.
And it's sad to say, but that might lead us into our next talking point.
Well, actually, yeah, we could jump there and then we'll jump back because I want to show you guys some. If you haven't seen this yet,
I think we should have a look at it.
Yeah, I think that I'm going to forewarn you. It's like no joke, but
and Steve,
this
I love you, but we
yeah.
got to show some chat the appreciation they need. Look, we got Eric, we got
Oh, yeah,
Ray
yeah.
Scramble. Who is that?
Oh,
Ivan,
yeah. I was
Ivan
throwing them up
Oscar.
there.
I remember that name. Warcry, my boy Hannibal. Hey, always good to see you. DDIS. Hey, I got your number. I'm gonna send you a text soon. I appreciate everybody stopping by. Who is that? Road Warrior Wick? Okay.
Is it Johan Lopez, Richard Palmer, Scrabble, Warcry, Old Shoe, all you guys, thank you for coming. And we will get to the chat here too. That's for sure. But I'm going to show you this because this is a really, I don't even want to mention anything till after we watch it because it's a really odd story. And the way, well, we'll watch it and then we'll ask about it. Let me get this started here. Hold on 1 second. It's making, I thought I paused this, but it's making an ad go. All right, guys. So a little preface here. This ad's only a couple seconds long, and then I'm going to put it on. But a little preface here is that, yeah, just watch real carefully to how quickly this escalates, and then we'll talk. And then we'll talk about it a bit.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gotta share that tab.
Steve's doing his damnedest to make sure not everyone here has to watch a YouTube ad, I think.
Oh, okay. Nothing wrong with that. I see we got all the family members up in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it.
Moment, YouTube prankster Tanner Cook first approached Alan Coley, and the moment Coley shot Cook in the stomach. Serious charges last week, a jury siding with his argument of self-defense. And now, for the first time, we're seeing, right now we're getting a look at newly unsealed video in the case of a Northern Virginia DoorDash driver who shot a prank YouTuber at Dulles Town Center. So the man who opened fire was acquitted on the most serious charges last week, a jury siding with his argument of self-defense. And now, for the first time, we're seeing the brief encounter that led up to those shots being fired at the mall. Just 20 seconds from the moment YouTube prankster Tanner Cook first approached Alan Coley and the moment Coley shot Cook in the stomach. This was the key piece of evidence in the case that jurors considered when acquitting Coley of the most serious charges of malicious wounding. The full 5-minute video shows Tanner Cook scoping out victims of his prank, playing odd and explicit messages on his phone. He then approaches Alan Coley, who was picking up a food delivery for his job with Doordash. Coley tells Cook to stop several times and threatens to call police. Then a huge escalation, and in just 20 seconds, he pulls a handgun out of his pocket and shoots Cook in the stomach. Cook, who has since recovered, reacting to our Matthew Torres about the not guilty verdicts last Thursday.
How disappointed are you about this?
I really don't care. I mean, it is what it is. It's God's plan at the end of the day. So,
you know, we respect what the jury says. And my family and I are just grateful and thankful that I have my son here and nothing else matters right now. That was the first time I seen the video. No mom wants to see their son be shot by a complete stranger in an occupied place. It was very shocking and very heart-wrenching.
Tanner Cook also telling WUSA 9 this incident won't stop him from making more YouTube videos.
Opinion about his content on YouTube. Do you agree with that?
I support Tanner in whatever he decides to do, and I'm going to continue supporting him.
Now, the jury did find Coley guilty of a charge related to firing the gun in the mall, but that particular verdict was set aside and is going to be reevaluated since he was acquitted on the other charges.
Okay, so what just happened?
That was horrible.
I mean, in a mall, first of all, like I get that the guy was like overly aggressive with his phone. You know, like you don't push your phone into somebody's face. I mean, he was doing things that it wouldn't have shocked me if the guy hit him, you know. But to pull a gun on him and not only pull it and shoot it though in the mall, I'm like literally stunned. Because I know some people carry weapons, mostly rideshare drivers, maybe more delivery drivers are than I think do these days. I don't know. I know delivery drivers now, but some of this is the fact that you're in your car a lot and driving too many hours, but delivery drivers now ranked into the top 10 most dangerous things to do in the United States. I never thought food delivery was going to be one of the top 10 most dangerous jobs. You know, I would think Secret Service.
One of the top 10? Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Part of it's auto accidents, though. It's not just this kind of stuff.
I can understand
people too
that.
many hours.
Yeah.
You know, whatever, getting hurt, getting killed. But I don't know. What is I mean, literally, like, first of all, where did this go wrong? Why is this YouTuber going to continue to make videos? How was he walking so quick?
It went wrong when he decided to accept the order on DoorDash that was inside the mall. That was his first mistake. Okay. And I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but once he said he's picking up a door, and then he brought his bag all the way in the mall, like, nah, man. All jokes aside, though, yeah,
I mean, I don't know, David, and like, why is he acquitted? What are they? I mean, is it? My guess is they're going to come back with many charges on this guy.
Yeah, I think it's too powerful for them not to do something, but I just think there's a couple sad things, right? It's like, one, you know, why do you think it's okay to harass somebody, right? You know, go in, play the thing and their thing. I just don't think those things are that funny. I mean, the guy's just trying to do his job. Two, also, just because you're stupid doesn't mean you deserve to get shot, right? So I guess that's how I feel about it. But people are stressed, right?
When seeing something like that, first thing that comes to mind is could it have been avoided? The gunshot.
I think in every way it should have been avoided.
I think it could have. I'm not a legal expert by any means, and I'm not well versed in the laws of that particular jurisdiction by any means. But I'm also not gonna sit here and say that I can equivalate or estimate how much force is required when dealing with a perceived threat. And see, that's the one thing we got to realize is the reason they didn't find him guilty is because it was the perceived threat. It doesn't matter the response and if it was the equivalent level of violence needed to approach or address that threat. What is basically they saying is there was a level of threat. Either he had justification to fear for his life or whatever the underlying circumstances may be. But would I have did that? Would I have shot a firearm in a crowded mall with kids and other people around and bullets ricochet? And no, that's stupid. But do I think that that's not within that man's right to do that? It's not a smart thing to do, but he's fearing for his life. It's just a bad situation all the way around if you really think about it. He should have accepted a DoorDash order that's going in the mall. Okay.
Okay, but that aside.
Then he took his whole delivery bag all the way. Did you see how he was holding the food?
Yeah.
No, like it was just a bad situation. And
yeah,
most people who carrying guns, especially into crowded areas with kids and everything, they scared of everything. He looked like he was scared of everything. Any level of confrontation would have made him let that gun off. So who even knows if he was supposed to have the gun? But that's a whole nother situation. The point is, they said he not guilty for that. Now, could he be held civilly liable? Oh, absolutely. It's lots of people around there that could sue for that incident happening and them being affected. It's lots of people, not just the people involved directly, but indirectly. So that's a whole nother thing.
And what's crazy to me was also watching the mom's reaction, right? So I was like, well,
yeah, I mean, there was a few things for me. The YouTuber saying that he wants to continue. And to me, that meant continue doing that type of stuff. You just got shot over it. You're going to go do it again. The mom backing him, kind of, maybe that explains why he's that way. I don't know. But here's the craziest part to me is that I did rideshare for many, many years. I worked in a bar and was leaving the place at 4 a.m. into an alley to go home many, many times. So if somebody approached me when I was door dashing at 1 a.m. and pulled a knife on me in an alley and I have a gun, I might pull it on him. I'm still not going to shoot him right away. I'm going to try and de-escalate or whatever, but I might pull it on him. But in a mall, first, I'm shocked he brought the gun into the mall. Second, I'm very shocked that, I guess if you have it on, you don't want to leave it in your car. I get that. But I would never pull it out in the mall. You got the mall cops. You got nobody would do anything. And the other guy didn't have a weapon.
In Missouri, I don't think you're allowed to bring firearms inside of any sort of strip mall, shopping mall, theater, anything where it's a public place and it's lots of people. I don't even think you're allowed to bring any type of firearm. I think they literally have the sign on the door. So yeah. Unless you law enforcement, but again, it's not something I would recommend that young man continue doing. And as far as the parents' reaction, that was just unheard of. I can't believe she actually said that to the news.
Yeah, James Ray is right. However,
I'm looking on the channel right now, so I'm not giving him a play, but it's 2 months ago was I got shot, and his latest one is detained at the airport. So it's a video of him getting arrested at the airport. So I guess. Well, that was a fast recovery from being shot.
That's what I was saying too. As he's walking out and they're interviewing him, he's just like, "Yeah, I'm going to keep doing it." Like, you learned nothing from that.
Absolutely nothing.
And I guess but here's the weirdest thing is here we are talking about the YouTuber, and we're not even talking that. We're more focused on his mom and her and him and why is he going to continue when really this DoorDasher still did that.
Yeah, he was tweaking.
Look, I'm not the person who goes and shoves a camera in your face and says, "Ha, I'm on YouTube. You're on it now too, DoorDasher, haha." But if I was, I wouldn't expect to ever get shot in a mall.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. And
that's that to me. This is like if you the first time I saw it, I was like, "What?" This is. It just happened too quickly. It seemed like something a 2 a.m. alley situation.
Is this YouTuber a minor?
I don't think so.
Are they a minor, like under the age of 18, or are they just like a young content creator?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Either way, it's still
everybody
not a
was
good
young.
situation,
Everybody
but
involved was young. So I mean,
I couldn't even imagine.
Eric and
I couldn't imagine just approaching somebody with that level of confrontation in their personal space. You don't know them, all for a prank. It seems pretty dangerous to me.
Yeah, Eric in Ohio has been on fire here.
And real quick, I want to say Ivanka. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah, that is the right way to say it.
I apologize.
Yeah, no, I was saying it the wrong way too, and she corrected me one time. So,
What's up, J Media?
Ivanaska. She kind of phonetically spelled it out in chat one time. So,
got you.
But okay, going back to DoorDash for a second here. When you started in 2022, you know where the pay was, that there was just a top dasher level at what 70%, and now there's like 2 tiers and diamond and double top dasher and this and that and the other, and you know, like, and
it's
the
crazy.
earnings too, and the volume, which we learned in an article, if we do have time, we can touch on, but that came out yesterday about between 3 platforms, DoorDash is one of them, Takeaway was one, and something else. It said $15 billion have been lost.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and I mean that's this year to date for the investors. I mean, just between the 3 platforms. I mean,
I'm waiting on the dip too. As soon as the dip happened, I'm right up in there.
Yeah, I mean the volume of orders is down. The pay is way down. I don't know if you're not multi-apping, I don't know how you're doing it if you're just doing DoorDash, but kudos to you if you're able to.
It got to be a combination of large order program. You don't have dasher tier rewards, new pot. You don't have that. You have LOP, and maybe you in a nice size market. Some would call it a metro area. And then it might be sustainable. And especially if you know your area really, really good. And that may be a really, really small percentage of the active dashes that we have out there right now. Because the most prevalent thing that I see is brand new dashers and dashers who have been around for a long time and who have made it work.
Yeah, I don't even know I mean, if you were not to multi-app and you were just to dash, I mean, can you even do anywhere near what you could in 2022?
Oh, absolutely not. 2022, it was possible for me. 2023, absolutely not.
Yeah, no matter the status, right? Top
no matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Maybe if I had the large order program, but see that one particular program is so powerful. And I know this from experience, it's so powerful that it's a game changer. With that, you can make it happen, but with nothing else.
Yeah.
When it comes to just DoorDash.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
100%. And I'm gonna keep it real.
I mean, no, and we were talking before we came on here. I did a thing we were talking about how Geezer and I were talking about just the horrible orders of last mile courier services the other night.
And DoorDash even said it themselves, but they advertise as a part-time gig and something to do on the side. They advertising themselves as that now. They doing everything in their power to make dashers less reliant on the earnings from DoorDash. They want to make it as part-time as possible. Now I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but that's their business play to maximize and make the most they can.
Yeah, I think one thing that's, we won't go legislation route tonight, but I think one thing that hurts them majorly is the churn rate has slowed. Like the onboarding of DoorDashers isn't as much, and the only reason it's not being felt right now is because the volume is down. If the volume of orders was still as high, they don't have as many people onboarding, and as they see that wheel slow, they better start taking care of the people who actually do work the platform. Because if that wheel of onboarding and oversaturation stops, they're screwed. Their whole model goes out the window.
Yeah, and I do see them doing things to take care of their dashes, though, because not everything they do is bad. Just
No,
recently, they did what, $10,000 bonus for Dashers who had
yeah, it was like
X amount of deliveries,
yeah,
and
20,000 and up was 1,000, 25,000 and up was like 3,000, and 30,000 was like 5,000.
So hey, I know more than a few Dashers that woke up with a couple thousand in their bank account. So that's a good thing. And
Yeah.
that does pay that that seniority off a little bit. You know, hey, here's a little something. It's not in the grand scheme. If you've been doing DoorDash since the beginning, that's not a lot in the grand scheme, but that's something though. And that's something that can make a big difference. I'm pretty sure it did.
Hey, waking up with an extra $3,000 never hurts, right?
I know that's right.
Yeah, but okay, so David and I have been through the ringer with DoorDash. I mean, if for those that don't know, if you never used the Para app when tip transparency was around, it's not really something we chase anymore or are trying to do, and we're moving in a lot of different directions. But during that time, there was 2 different periods when that tip transparency was working, where they actually came after it. Para with cease and desist orders, and it was very real. They got very mad, but you could follow it. It was weird, like until it was crossed over 200,000 active Para users, they didn't care. Like when it was 10 or 5, at that time they just kind of left it alone because they definitely knew nothing was being hidden about. We were trying to advertise Para and make sure everybody was using it, so they knew. But they waited till it was like 200,000. And then they're like, okay, now let's get legal. And I don't know, David. I mean, like at this point, I am like losing my mind every time they add something new to DoorDash, because I'm like, why are there 2 top Dasher levels? Why is there Diamond? Why is there this? Why don't they just be transparent? We've said it all along. I know they have extra people to hide the code and black box everything and move it around all the time so that nothing can be found.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for them financially to make Steve happy.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't. Nothing that is in the category of happiness for Steve and David is gonna do anything to increase their profits or decrease their bottom line costs. So they look at it as adversarial, right? It's something that's going to end up negatively impacting them. So they say we got to stamp it out, and that's a business decision, because for them, okay, let's take New York, right? They get tip transparency, right? In certain parts, they get full tip transparency, right, on the DoorDash app
for a while now, right?
I wish Hannibal, if you're still here, please let me know, or somebody, if you're in New York, please
somebody in the chat, let me know, because from my understanding,
it was a thing. It was a thing, but like most things that happen in New York City go away. Most legislation that, I mean, like we saw for the rideshare drivers in what was it, 2019 or whatever, they did what they did with the food space, and we'll move into that here, but they did $27.86 an hour for rideshare drivers, and that was considered expenses and what you should make. I know drivers who were doing rideshare in New York City making 50 plus every hour they worked, but they worked weekends, midnight shifts. They worked all the shifts nobody wants. So all of a sudden, these $50 to $60 an hour earners were making 35 to 40 at best, because that's
a big difference,
because they had to bring up the people who weren't earning that $27.86. Because if you think that Uber and Lyft or DoorDash or any of these companies for 1 second pays that amount, you're crazy. Right. They're not making up for the people who are under the bottom. They're just taking it from the top earners.
Yeah. And that ain't right. But the thing is, when it all boils down to it, it's just like you just said. If you're making money using the apps, you're making it off of tips, not off base pay.
Right.
Right. So we in a situation where the company is doing everything it can to be profitable. We want information, but information costs money. Information is the deal breaker. That means they make money or make more money. So they got to keep the gap between the most informed and the newest driver, the new driver, and all the information. They got to keep them as far apart as possible. And that means no transparency. Because if the new driver got all the transparency, they don't know they ain't got to take every single order. They don't know what a big order is. Oh my goodness. I saw a comment today in my comment section. I'm glad I watch your videos because until watching your channel, I didn't know I didn't have to take every order. It's a decline button on the screen, but they need
Well,
to be told, right?
It's
And
the
gap
it's
of
the trick,
information.
but it's the trickery too that they use. That AR rate shouldn't even exist.
That all falls into the how much information do you have? How much do you need to be profitable? How much do you need to be out there maximizing? And how many barriers am I going to put in your place for you to get that information until you didn't hopped on Google and went on YouTube, and now you done joined the whole Doordash YouTube community because
But this is why
they
there's
actively hide the information. Why? Because it's money. It's all about
But this is why there's legislation coming in every state now, because they just could have been transparent. The problem is I was an independent contractor before Uber ever started in 2008. Traditional lighting, lasers, production, staging, all that kind of stuff. And you can't have an acceptance rate by any definition of independent contractor. So you can't, they want to pay you like an independent contractor, but treat you like an employee. They can't do that.
Well, I mean, if you agree to the TOS, they can.
Right. But this is I mean, had they just been transparent all along, I don't think we'd be facing legislation in every state right now.
No, yeah, I agree with you. And I think a lot of things you say make a hell of a lot of sense, right? But at the end of the day, they make the most money with the least information that's out there as far as what the drivers can do, what they have the right to do, and what they shouldn't have to deal with. Shouldn't be no acceptance rate. It shouldn't be no 100,
but that's what
100 order customer rating. But the thing is, if you want to play, you got to sign your rights away.
Yep, or click box them away. Yeah,
exactly. Or click box, agree. Update. Hey, we got a new. what Uber Eats say? We got a new amendment to the thing. You got to agree to it if you want to drive. We finna lower the base pay. That ain't right, but you got to agree to it, because the base pay don't matter. And it all falls back to, okay, this is an opportunity. The more information I have, the better these opportunities can be for me, right? But on the flip side, what can we do, and also what is happening on the legislation level to affect those opportunities? Because everything that's done ain't gonna just be a benefit when it comes to legislation. Some things gonna hinder the company, but it's also gonna end up
it's gonna
hurt.
It's gonna hurt everybody. That's part of my point. Is like their legal bills alone, their legal team is just, those are things that really hurt this company.
Yeah.
Or giving somebody a $1,000 bonus to do X amount of deliveries when onboarding, and then giving it to another person. And look, I mean, there's times that can help us or whatever, but all of us can see that as a stupid business move.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because I'm not in there crunching the numbers. I don't know how much money they making or how much they dishing out on this or
right,
that.
Right. I'm just saying, at this point, everybody, DoorDash is a household name.
No, absolutely. And that's the point, though.
People know about it. You don't need to be paying bonuses and, it might be a way of making it up to Dashers.
If they want them 10-year Dashers to stick around, hey, maybe they might have to do that. And to have a little bit of positive public PR, right? Always look good when you're giving back to the people, to the bottom line. So that's a good look. That news coverage alone may have just paid for those bonuses they dished out.
Yeah, it's smart. And I think it really goes back to, like, at the end of the day, DoorDash makes money by squeezing. It sits in the middle. You got to squeeze the restaurant, or you got to squeeze the driver. And how do you make more money? By squeezing one of the sides. So you can selectively decide when to give money, and you can be smart about it. And actually, it sort of reminds me, right? I think maybe some people watching know this. I'd worked at Uber back in like 2015 as an operations manager doing driver incentives, right? And you know what we found worked the best? Is we do almost a lottery, right? So we used to spend $1 million a week in Vegas on driver incentives. And like on any given week, it was $1 million in incentives. This was 2015, 2016, when there's like the huge incentive war against Lyft. We found, what was good was, if everybody said, hey, for every hour you work, you guarantee this much. If you do 20 trips, you get $100, right? We used to have those sort of guarantees. But what we found worked the best was, for every trip you take, you get one ticket into the lottery. At the end of the week, one person's going to win $75,000, basically. right? And I had the job where I'd call somebody and give them $75,000, and that person would be pretty damn happy. And we were super happy because instead of spending $1 million a week, we were now spending $75,000. Right? And we were running with this for a while until I think we decided that it just didn't seem right or fair because it just wasn't good for everyone. But I think that's to some extent what you're seeing here with the 35,000 trips. Someone there has very carefully calculated the amount of money they're giving out. 35,000 was chosen specifically, and everything is done with a purpose there. And I think that's what people need to realize, right? Is like a lot of this might seem like it's random or they're doing things or not trying things, but a lot of it's purposeful. There's a lot of smart people there who are trying to squeeze you, basically, right? And at the end of the day, I think that's why I come back to it's like it's hard to really fight back on that. The only way to fight back on that is having other options for your time to say no. Right.
And I'm glad you said that too, because you just made me remember something. When I first made it back down to Missouri from Sioux Falls, this was March. When I landed down here, turned the Dasher app on, we had a $900 referral for every Dasher you referred.
Yes.
It went up to $1,800, guys.
Jeez.
Right? Guess what it's at right now? And what it's been at for the last couple of weeks? $20.
Yeah, I know in some places it just goes away. Like there's
right?
not even
and like you say, sometimes some places just go away altogether.
Yeah.
They will do whatever they need to find that money to make those bonuses happen, make it to where they're not losing money on that month, and they're gonna do news coverage on it to get positive publicity, and it's gonna be a plus sign on the books at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's lots of things they can do to find that bonus money, and then like you say, it's lots of parameters they can put on who's going to get it. They thought about that number really carefully. And like you said, it's going to make a few select people happy over when you look at that number against the majority, it's going to be a few select people. But at the end of the day, it's a smart business move on their part.
Well, yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't agree with their tactics. I don't agree. I don't think they have a moral compass anywhere in the building. I don't think any of them.
They got a money compass.
I mean, I think all of them know where they're going in the afterlife. I think so. I mean, as a company,
it's not for me to decide.
But here's the thing, guys. With companies, that's just kind of if they're able to, they're going to go as evil as they can. That's just the way companies go. I mean, it's not good or it's not a good thing, but if companies can get away with stuff, they get away with it. Period. David, I saw you pulled up that comment from Dashing Across America, and I didn't know if you, because I know this hits to home. So, yeah, what is the answer to this?
No, they don't, but they should, right? And not to Apple, they should make the API available to Dashers, right? I think that this goes back to hey, you're an independent contractor, you're running a small business, but if I'm a restaurant, DoorDash will give me access to my API and my data to bring into my iPad. But if I'm a Dasher and an equivalence partner in the business, supposedly I can't get access to my data stream, right? So the answer is they certainly don't. I wish that they did. And it shouldn't even be to app developers. It should be to the individual Dasher. And the Dasher can do with it what they want. They should be able to send it to an app like ours. They should be able to look at their own earnings. They should be able to do with it what you want, basically. But they don't. They don't.
It's not a cheap alternative. Or it's not a cheap way of doing things, but does Argyle still have access to that?
Does Argyle still have access to the earnings data, you're asking?
Yeah, can they still hit that from DoorDash?
They can, so it's not official though. So they do broadly similar tactic, but I think the difference is, I guess a little technical, is Argyle's able to pull it through a web app because there is a way to look at your DoorDash earnings through the web. But the way that they pull the data from the earnings won't allow you to pull live trip data, basically, right?
Yeah,
so
okay.
Stream the data.
But yeah, still, even in a past tense, I don't know why you wouldn't have access to that. That's your rec. I mean, if you got audited, I know you can't remember all your clients, but that might be information you need.
Yeah.
In fact, I can't remember who we were talking to. I think it was maybe Sergio, who said that he had a friend in Portland who got audited, pulled out all of his books for all the gig work he had been doing. And they're like, are you kidding? And like the guy had everything I have basically. And I feel like I'm very prepared for that kind of situation if it occurred. But this guy, and this is an Oregon thing, but the auditor looked at him like he was crazy. He's like, this isn't good enough. Where are the details? And he got fined a lot of money. So, but that bring, you know,
talk comment.
What is it? If we
No,
can,
I said that's a great comment.
If we can figure out how to keep our AR up with airplane mode, we can figure out how to tip transparency.
Hey, Wendy, if you check the channel page and head over to the About section, scroll on down to the bottom, it'll be right there for you.
Okay. But going back to New York City, so now there's this new law in place. All the articles say $18 an hour, but it's not. It's actually $17.96 or 50 cents a minute for the active time you spend in an hour. That is the guaranteed earning in New York City for DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub now. They were denied. They're usually in court. They get this kind of stuff. They get to debate it for years, kind of thing. But when this happened with rideshare and the 27 some odd dollars, that isn't a thing anymore. That doesn't really exist anymore. It's gone. My thought is that eventually this will be too. Also, New York City, $17.96. Again, I feel like they're going to pull from the people who hustle and earn and give it to the people that they say on average after expenses we're making $5 an hour. And this is where I think, man, I've spent decades in the service industry. You know what? Not everybody works out in the service industry. It's just a thing. If you're making $5 and you live in New York City doing delivery, you need to do something else. I'm sorry to put it so bluntly, but you do.
What do you think about what Chris says here? Not a fan of this minimum wage crap.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I'm saying the people in New York City who make 40, watch. I guarantee, and I mean, this just happened, but in a few weeks, we're going to hear that they can't make more than 25 because they're going to be making up that difference. Again, it's all being done behind the DoorDash wall. So like, it's just going to reallocate money from here to here to here. And it's just going to make the offers worse for the others and try and balance it all out.
I think it'll be interesting to keep an eye on New York in the coming weeks, especially the content creators we have coming out of New York, and really see what kind of limitations the gig apps start to put on the dashers and how they make their money. And I'm even interested to see some of these screenshots of payouts and how they start to differ from what we used to see in the past.
And are they going to do like a prop?
Am I going to go up there and dash? No.
But I'm saying, are they going to have a, you can only deny one an hour. You can only,
sure.
I mean, these are the kind of things that we don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them, and it wouldn't be a bad idea for them to do that financially.
Look, I don't.
If they already being forced to pay a certain amount per active hour, which is basically going to end up being $18, regardless of tips, and they're going to be put in a tight spot, so they're going to have to do something.
And then to that, let me put it on the other side. You're the fastest dasher alive, right?
Yep, confirmed in the whole Milky Way. All
right, so. On the flip side of that, $17.96 is 50 cents a minute while you're active time. So if you stay active the entire 60 minutes, you make $30. So in New York City, if you lived there and you were dashing, wouldn't you become the slowest dasher alive?
If I was in New York City and I lived there, see, the thing is, if I lived in New York City, the whole way I dash right now wouldn't even be the same. Because I don't know if I would be a bike dasher, a scooter dasher. Right. I don't know if I would only do rideshare. So that's a very difficult question to answer. But living in the Midwest and looking at what's going on over in New York, the first thing that comes to my mind is, can I multi-app? And if so, or if no, can I get away with it?
I mean, to me, it's going to make
what's in my head, because
it's going to make every dasher be to the minute on their deliveries, because they're going to hope on the 30 an hour. Yeah. So they're going to try and stay active, and that means the food's going to be colder. There aren't going to be hustlers.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be different.
Yeah, your food will never show up 10 minutes early or 8 minutes early. It's going to show up on the minute because these people are going to milk that clock.
Yeah, and like I said, if it was me, I'd still be trying to figure out a way how to multi-app, even with the guaranteed minimum. I'm not finna sugarcoat it. I'm gonna be still trying to do Uber, Grubhub, and DoorDash all at the same time. Or if I'm in a vehicle and I'm doing grocery delivery, Walmart Spark, Instacart, I'm trying to do at least 2. So for me, it's.
I think like New York is crazy. Can you imagine multi-apping while driving one of those bikes where you have your hands in the mitten while it's snowing out there? Right?
Man,
I was just like, those
New
York Dashers are crazy, right? I was like,
There's a few of them with YouTube channels. I'll send them to you, David, that do that.
Adrian McPherson, he's on that bike. He's in New York. Man, he be doing
but the
thing.
scooter guys too. I can't think of the one scooter guys. His scooter's always busted. He's always fixing it. And
one of the people who works with us here that we should go test out the system. Right? He's like, let's go rent some bikes and let's go do some deliveries. I'm like, when's the last time you've biked? I bike like twice a week. Like, I haven't ridden a bike in like 6 years. I'm like, you're gonna die. Like, you're gonna die. And what happens? Right?
What happens during a snowstorm or an ice storm? Canada just had a thing where they did surge pricing, which broke the law because there's a law in place because there was a train issue, and there's a lot of transit done by train. As soon as that train issue happened, they surged 3 times, knowing that they broke the law and they're gonna get fined for it. So here in New York City, there was that flooding storm. Uber is not allowed to surge price during emergencies in New York City. They surged 5 times. They know they're going to get caught.
I seen a couple Dashers pushing their scooters through the water. I said, "Oh man."
Yeah. And what does that say about the food too, man?
Man, I say them
that food's not getting
gonna
too
be
dry.
having a field day.
Yeah.
Boy, I can't even imagine how bad the rats gonna be after that water go. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be horrible.
I guess my thing becomes, you said it, Trader, was that they just don't care about the actual person. We're just numbers in their sequencing. It's like, oh, this guy, take from this guy, give it to, and all that kind of stuff.
It costs them too money to care about the individual.
Exactly. But in these kind of moves, in my opinion, when you set a dollar amount, you're going to lose all of your best people.
Well, you may.
You may not, but I think you're going to lose a good amount of them because there will be the smart people who are like, man, if I can't make 40, I'm done.
Yeah, but the amount of people that they always have coming in, regardless of the different changes they may apply or the different legislative, administrative changes that may happen, it's always going to be a steady stream of people who their guaranteed minimum is going to be all they ever know. And that as the backbone is going to be what's supporting them. So even if they lose their best dasher, even if the fastest dasher in the whole Milky Way confirmed by 3 different agencies, even if he go out there and dash, they don't need him because it's going to be others that come up right behind. And as long as if they lose me, they're going to gain 2 more per hour. $18. All right, let's do it.
I guess. Again, yeah, for New York City, sure. For LA, sure. Those churn rates will never slow down. But but they do have cities where that churn rate is slowing. We know it.
Yeah, that ain't flying in the Midwest, I don't think.
Yeah, look, there's legislation coming that is based on this or this or this, and this is a rare one where they're using the dollar amount. I hate this. I think it sucks. I think to all the hustlers out there, I don't know if Wendy made this comment because she's in New York City, because like where I am in Denver, and it's pretty crazy here. I can park anywhere I want, put my hazards on. I'm not recommending doing it. I'm just saying I can.
And I'm pretty much the same way, Steve. Like, if I find myself in a situation where I can't park, I'm pretty much pulling over wherever I can. I pop the hazards. I'm FDA. I'm trying to get back real quick. Now, I don't recommend that. I don't want anybody getting no parking tickets or violations. But if you're having issues with the parking, and that's something that's going to become a real hindrance to your Dash experience, and it's going to cost you financially, yeah, we're going to have to fix that, Wendy. We're going to have to fix that. We're going to either have to change areas, change vehicle type, but it's not the time of year to really be doing that. But we definitely going to have to change strategy. Okay?
So in Birmingham, Alabama, they're writing you parking tickets?
Wow. What, are you downtown? You downtown dashing?
But even so, like when I'm down, I live downtown Denver.
But it could be good money downtown. So I don't want to.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but I'm saying
I stay away.
I'm just surprised they write the tickets because I hit my hazards on. I've even had the parking person near me, kind of thing.
Who was that? Somebody said, who was that? Eric in Ohio. That is so, you guys are so funny.
I was like, should I put that up? Should I not put that up? Eric's been on fire.
Oh, if they type it, put it up, man.
A good laugh is always good. Say, a girl.
But yeah, this law does, it's not just DoorDash, you guys. This is Uber Eats and Grubhub too. So I don't know how they're going to deal with, like, if, like Trader said, if you're multi-apping, you know, are they just going to total up the active hours you did in a day? Are they going to, I don't know what they're going to do.
I think the best thing we can do as people who covering what's going on, and Dashers ourselves, we all are Dashers here. We got to stay informed and really keep our ear to the streets and keep our eye focused on the story so we can see what the landscape is looking like in the next couple weeks, right? Mm-hmm. That way we can see, is this going to be something that they even have a potential to roll out nationwide? What's up, Noah Nomad? You know I see you. Or is this something that's just going to get brushed under the rug, right? Because that has happened in the past. The best thing we can do, guys, and I'm talking to the chat right now, the best thing we can do is stay informed and also keep all your opportunities available to yourself. Don't limit yourself, because you don't know what any of these apps can do day to day, week to week, or what can be done to them that make them be in a hard situation where they got to make a hard choice and limit the Dashers or make the requirements harder. We got to stay informed, and that's going to be our best bet.
And also, don't forget, you could be deactivated for something somebody else did. They make that, and it's not like that's oh, that's so rare though. No, it's not. It happens all the time.
All the time.
I mean, there are rightful deactivations, but there's a lot of wrongful ones.
Most deactivations are valid. I do believe.
I'd believe that too.
But a lot of deactivations happen because of algorithm errors.
Yep.
Okay. Inactivity, a lot of things. So you got to make sure you understand that at any moment you could be deactivated.
Yeah.
So the best thing for you is to not put all your eggs in one basket.
I think that's where I keep going to, is like, the app doesn't care about you as an individual. Even if you want to feel that way, you can always get randomly deactivated. Laws are a changing. So what can you control? Just don't be dependent on one.
Don't be dependent, and know that there are folks out there who do care about drivers. That would be us here, who come up, give you live streams, give you information on what's happening right now in real time. Steve Rideshare Rodeo, David with Par, Dash and Trader, Pedro, Hannibal. We care about drivers because we want to make sure that no matter what happens in the gig economy climate, app-wise, legislation-wise, you have that information so that you can be the most prepared. And that's really what it's all about. The more information you have, the better you're going to be.
Yeah. And make sure obviously work through the apps, onboard to more apps. Even if you're doing great on DoorDash, like we just said, you could be deactivated for no reason. It could start really dying off for you. Have other apps available. Do a few on them. If it
did you pop on that point pickup?
Did
Steve?
Oh
yeah. Did you pop on the point pickup? I know you said it's been about 6 months since you turned.
I really don't do it anymore. I have so many. There's more last mile courier apps than there are food, shopping and rideshare apps all together. There's more courier apps than there are all of those together.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, guys, chat. If you got some apps that you haven't used in a while, or something that you've been hesitant on trying out, get a couple orders under your belt. Get your feet wet. Try it out. Have something else that you can pull out of your utility belt just in the event you need to, or you just want to try something different. But you are expanding your blanket of security that we do have here in the gig economy by having multiple apps. Yep. I'm going to turn on Amazon Flex next week, and I'm going to get a Flex order done. Not because I want to, necessarily do Flex all week, but I want to be able to in the event I have a need for Amazon Flex.
Yeah. And the other thing is, we give you the best information we can on our markets, but if I say Roadie sucks, I'm going to use Roadie because I think all of us think it sucks. So look, maybe Roadie in your market doesn't suck. Maybe. You won't know till you try.
That's right.
We're showing you things. Don't just buy that, go, well, it must suck then. On board to it. If you see what we're showing you, then it probably sucks.
Oh yeah.
You gotta try it for yourself.
I saw an interesting one recently. Have you all seen this company called Zoom, Z-U-M, but it's drive school buses?
I did see that.
40, $50 an hour, basically, in some of the different cities. 4 to 6
Interesting.
Especially Chicago.
Yeah, it
Chicago's
looks interesting. And it's like, I mean, you also have to put up with kids. And I know kids can be ruthless on the bus, right? But like,
Yeah. But if you're a bus driver, that may be something you prepare for. So, hey,
yeah,
more avenues for them to get them in and hopefully be directly vetted through the education department and everything. But yeah, I think that's a excellent opportunity for someone who it may fit.
and it's like hop, skip, drive though too. I mean, look at that one. You got it, or like an Alto rideshare. There's a whole different set of standards to get into those. I mean, like hop, skip, drive. Would you want to make that little extra money to be driving kids around? I wouldn't. I'd rather hustle on other apps. Yeah, I don't want that danger of taking up kids I don't know. Yeah, that's true, Josh.
Steve, Roadie or Instacart? Roadie or Instacart?
It's Roadie now.
It's Roadie?
And Instacart pays $4 an order now. So they even cut it in half, and I still say it's Roadie.
Instacart paid $7.42 to shop for 39 items at Snooks.
And Instacart, by the way, is losing on the market too, guys. I mean, like this public offering is going horribly for them.
Well, they need to raise some money, so that's how they got to do.
But David, is there
buy the dip? Hey, buy the dip.
Is there any Parapass update on maybe Chicago that we can give? We should plug a little something in today.
I mean, I think that's why I'm bringing out some of these other ones. Like we are about to launch sort of a skip the line with skip carts, and a skip cart's launching a couple new locations here. 7-Eleven, it depends on the market. I've seen some of their trips. Some are rough, so you got to try them. Some of them are pretty good. So it really depends on the market there. But we have one coming up with skip cart. We've been doing Fuda in Chicago, which has been doing well.
I mean, even GoPuff. I was on the GoPuff wait list for like a year. And then Dave Parapass in my market lets you skip the line. So like when we were testing it, I was one of the first. I actually was onboarded to it in a day after being on a wait list for a year.
I might have to try that because I'm on the wait list currently for GoPuff.
Yeah, and the hope is that more and more opportunities will come that let you skip the line.
Yeah, we can have you skip. But in Chicago, we also have a company called Kite there, which is sort of like, it's a weird one, but it's sort of like if you have a scooter, it's good. It's delivering cars to people's houses, like Hertz or Avis. Like if you're too lazy to go pick up the car, you can help drive the car to their house, and that seems to be paying well, and the tip is good there. But we have sort of just a bunch more of these other ones coming. So sort of like Kite deliver cars, drop off.
Imagine delivering vehicles all day from the rental car place. Yeah, you just got a little fold up scooter. You just pop it out after every delivery. Just ride it back. That is awesome. Just the amount of opportunities that exist and that will continue to be created. It just amazes me.
But what's weird about that one though? Who is if you go rent a car, they walk you out to the car, you walk around it. Hey, are there any dings? They ask you. You're responsible to check. Who's going to be responsible for that? Because what if like the guy who's driving it to you like cuts a medium and blows the whole bottom out, and then the guy returns it? He's going to get blamed.
Hey, they're gonna have to figure out the details. But hey, I don't care if I try that out. I try that out. Of course, there's gonna be issues. There's gonna be kinks to work out. But at the end of the day, I think that's a great opportunity because it's that people are already getting cars delivered to their houses. They got the car vending machines. You order it, you pop in the number, they deliver it right to your house. So
we got a couple other we're talking to. One here is called Wonder. So they're sort of like it's like a W-2 part-time, but it's like what I call sort of like it's like a super fancy food delivery one where they run their own cloud kitchen and they pay decently well there.
So it's like a Winolo?
No, it's not like Winolo. It's called Wonder, and it's in New York and New Jersey. But it's the guy started like Jet.com and sold it to Walmart. I think he owns some NBA team, but this is his new company. And
these smaller apps better watch out because they become too big. Doordash or Uber just gonna buy them out and absorb them into the app.
Yeah, the guy owns the Timberwolves. So the guy owns the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is his new thing, and they're hiring drivers and paying well. So that sounds good. We've also been talking to a company called Fetch Package. They're starting to expand in some cities, and it looks like they're starting to pay decently. We've been working with this company called Drop-Off, so we're just trying to find, as I've always
I
said,
love to hear it.
like good other alternatives. I think Esteban, you had the question here. I put it in the chat, but it's called Ride Zoom.
Yeah.
We're hoping to work with them, but just go check it out. You can apply right there, but I'd say go check it out. Deborah, you had a good question here. How do you transfer your info from Para to another app you apply for? Right now, it's only for the ones in Para Pass there. You click, and what happens is effectively the profile's like a key. So we go to the platform. We say, hey, Deborah's good to go. She's credentialed. This is her gig history. She wants to sign up for your app. Deborah's great, by the way. You should let her skip your onboarding because she's awesome. She's not just a random person signing up. And then basically what happens to you is you click the button. They're like, hey, you're registered. You're good to go. Or usually for some platforms, it's, hey, do a phone call, you're good to go, or watch a video and you're good to go. But we're hoping, actually, I love this what you say here, or is it only the ones you offer for now? My goal over time is that it shouldn't have to come through us. I would like it so that if you've ever seen like a sign up with Google or a sign up with Facebook for a system and you've never had to do anything, I would love you to be able to use your profile. So sign up with their Para profile.
Right. Basically uploading your own background check. So you're not running 1,000 of them. It's done for a period of time. You use that and they're taking Para's word at it that you are checked and you're checked and you're a good gig worker and they can just onboard you.
Yeah. So I think right now it has to go through the app, but the goal over time is like it's your profile. You should be able to take it places and, apply and skip the line basically. So
so for those of you that didn't use Tip Transparency and haven't used the Para app in a long time, get on it because Para Works has offers. I know people this week alone who have taken their first orders. It's like more and more and more offers, and they're the better catering ones. And then there's more to come. But if Para Pass is in your area or when it is, the app is really simple now. It's got 4 buttons at the bottom. One's Para Pass, one's Para Works. One is your drive button and still can connect accounts and do all that kind of stuff. But
and look, guys, if you're not on the catering app, I highly recommend you get on top of that as soon as possible. We are heading into the season where people finna really start spending that money. Businesses as well, daytime, lunchtime, dinner time, some money to be made. So if you can apply for call to get in the large order program, download you some deliver that. Try Para. Lots of catering orders on there. I've even seen them in my area as well.
Yeah, even some of the caterings that are on there are really just like 2 people's dinners. But they pay amazing. So, Trader, what some final words of wisdom here before we get out of here?
No tip, no trip.
Period.
First and foremost.
Period.
I am and will continue until I hand over the mantle. I'm FDA. Okay. There can be no other. But all jokes aside, guys, look, let's stay safe out there when we dash. And we saw the prankster do some not so smart stuff. I don't recommend you get up in anybody's personal space. Let's get out here and make this money. And when it comes to making that money, stay informed on what's happening around the country and around the world too. But stay really focused on what's happening around the country and see how that could impact you and maximize no matter where you at.
Agreed. David, you got some last words here?
Not that wasn't already said. I think, get yourself on the other apps and
check out Para. How about that?
So.
Check out Para if you haven't in a while, guys.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Of course. Hey, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everybody on Trader's channel for watching. We will be doing the lives now every Thursday. They won't be pre-recorded anymore. David and I will be here and have different guests every week. So join us back here next Thursday at 7 p.m. And thank you, David. Thank you, Trader. Be smart, everybody, or be safe, earn smart, and we'll see you back here next week.
All righty, guys. Until next.